In this session, we're going to be looking at something really important for everyone that wants to work with data to know. We're going to be looking at data cleaning. Now, up to this point, we've been having really nice data, but that's not what is attainable in real life. Data is mostly, if not always, dirty. And what do I mean by dirty data? Dirty data is a data that is not fit for analysis, right? And we can categorize, some attributes of dirty data are data that contains null values, or where you have entries that have spaces. So maybe I enter my name and I enter a space after my name, or spaces after my name. And it's no more my name, it's no more Damilare, it's now Damilare space, because spaces are characters, right? So what would we be learning in this section? We'll be learning how to modify strings by trimming them. We're learning how to concatenate strings, that's joining them together. We're learning how to change cases. We're learning how to extract strings using substrings, left, right functions. We're learning how to manipulate data and time fields. And we'll also be learning how to manipulate some text as well. So for the first function we'll be learning the concat function. But before that, let's just talk about string functions, right? So string functions are used to manipulate strings, really. So we have, like I said, data that is never, sometimes always dirty. Now, if you look at a sample, this is a sample of a messy data right here. And I want us to focus on, because it's really messy, but one we can see is the gender. You can see for male on the first row, we have some spaces before male. Now, this is not exactly male. This is space male, which is not the same thing as male, because pgadmin recognizes a space as a character. So if I put space male, it's not the same thing as male, right? So we use string functions to clean up messes like this, and there's a lot of mess in this data set. Now, for practical, I will be attaching a link to where we can download this sample messy data. I'll be attaching a link to this video so you can easily download it. Now, let's jump right into our first function, and that's the concat function, right? And what does the concat function do? Concat function is gotten from the English word concatenate, right? Which means to join two things together. Join two things together, right? So, and it takes in two arguments, right? The string column 1 and the string column 2. So, what two columns do you want to join together? And that's what you pass into the concat function, right? And concat function only joins in characters, so data types, char, varchar, and nchar data types, right? Any other type of data type, it really won't join them together, right? So let's go into pgadmin. Now I have created, pgadmin now. I'm just going to take this off, and I have created using that attached document on this video. I have created a database called data cleaning, and then I have created a table called string manipulation. So when you download that file, I want us to practicalize. We've all learned how to upload a CSV file into pgadmin. When you download that file, I want us to upload that string manipulation file into a database called data cleaning. So name your table string manipulation so you can work with this video, right? So let's see what's in my string manipulation table. So I'm going to say select star from string manipulation. That's the table I'm going to work with. String manipulation. And let's run this. So this is the content of our table, right? And it looks all nice and cozy, right? But I can assure you it's not. We have first name, we have last name, we have course code, phone number, card number, gender, and address. And if we inspect it closer, if we inspect the table closer, and let's select Stella. Okay, Stella looks like it is clean. Let's select Temi. You can see Temi has some spaces behind the eye, so that's not ideal at all, and we have to do our best to make sure we remove all that. Same thing for gender. Check female here and has some spaces. Check male here, has some spaces before. Well, we're not focusing on that for now. We'll do that later. What we want to talk about is the concat function, and what the concat function does is that it joins multiple strings together. All right, so let's create something. What if I want to create a full name column, right? So I want to create a column for full name. That means I want to join first name and last name together. So I go like this. I say select from my table name is string manipulation, right? And what do I want? I want let's do first name, last name, then full name. Right? I think that's nice. So first name, first underscore name, comma, last underscore name. And how do I get my full name? I use the concat function now. I say concat, right? And what am I concatenating? I'm concatenating first name, first underscore name, and my last name. And I'm purposely going to make a mistake here just for learning purposes, right? So first name and last name, last underscore name. And let's call that full name. So as full name, full underscore name, right? And let's run this. So we have our result here, and we can see something quite interesting. That we have our first name, right, as we specified. We have our last name as we specified. But for the full name, where we joined first name and last name, it just joined them without even leaving any space as it should leave, right? So it should be James space Tyler, Tunde, Stella space Eze, Tunde space Steven. Temi has a space. That's because Temi originally has a space in the original first name, right? And which is an error, right? Which is an abnormality, which we should remove, right? So, but then this is not what we want, right? We want the first name space, last name. So what do we do? Now, I've always said space is a character, right? So we have to infuse that character into our concat function, right? So our first string is going to be first name. Our second string, however, is going to be space. So space. So it's just in inverted commas and space. And that's my second string. My third string will be last name. So I have three strings in my concat function now. First name, space. This is space. It's space in my inverted comma. And last name. And now let's try this again. And now we can see that it looks better now. It's James space Tyler. It looks proper now. Now this is how the concat function works. We could do a lot with concat function. So let's say I want to create an email address. So let's say I just want to write a sentence, right? So this I could say first name, comma, that's my first string. I can say first name, and then I want to say lives in, lives. I have an address column. So I can say that's my second string is lives in, and I could say address as my third string. So address. as my third string, and I can just call this sentence, just call it name, a random name, sentence. And let's run this. So we have an error, and the error is because you can see there's a red line at from, and that means there's something going on before from, and that's from here. There shouldn't be a comma since there's nothing else after that. So we'll run this again. All right, now we have our sentence, right? And it doesn't look great, really. The lives in is mashed up with the first name and is mashed up with the address, and that's because we didn't specify space. So if I put a space before L and a space after I, right? So there's a space between first name and lives in, and then there's a space between lives in and the address. And I run this. So when I run this, now I have it looking all proper. Now this is how the concat function works. Now we're going to be trying out a lot of other functions in this course, right? We're doing the replace function, etc., etc. So stay tuned and see you in the coming videos. Thank you.